in coaching, you never know who and when there'll be an opportunity. Okay, and this time, one of my best friends in the United States coached in the NBA for 20 years. He was college coach for, 20 years. He had just retired from the Detroit Pistons, and the NBA asked him if he would be interested in working with the NBA Academy Africa and the BAL. And he said he would definitely be interested. So before he left, him and I had dinner, and he told me about the job, and I said, hey, that's a great job, great opportunity. And he says, would you be interested if over there someone asked me if there was a job available? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? So when he went over there, he just went to Egypt first. He was watching games, and he met Desiree, and they became friendly with each other. They talked basketball, and he just mentioned my name to Desiree, that if there was ever anything in Rwanda. It was nothing about me coaching in Rwanda. It was just if you needed anybody to help, that I would be interested. I was basically retired, so I wasn't expecting anything. So maybe a couple of days later, the APR team had contacted me and asked me if I would have any interest. And we went back and forth, and I did a little research on the background of the team, the players, and I saw it was a very talented basketball team. And I saw that they were, in third place. The Patriots, I understood that they were really very good. Reg was very good, and I looked upon it. I said, well, maybe if we can work something out, this would be a good challenge. I'd never coached in Africa before. I worked in the Middle East. I worked in Asia and the Philippines. So I looked at it as an opportunity to coach somewhere I've never coached before. And one thing led to another, and APR and I were agreed upon coming out, and from that point on, my total focus was on, winning a championship. If APR contacting me and wanting me to be their head coach, they didn't want to make the finals. They wanted to win the finals. And as a coach, I don't want to make the finals either. I want to win the finals. So with that mindset, when I arrived, talked to the team, talked to the management, the players, we came up with a structured plan to give us an opportunity for me to be able to coach a championship team. The APR management did an outstanding job, The president, Eric, Kareem, in putting a team together that had the talent to win the championship. And a lot of credit has to go to the management and how they put this team together. And I've told them that numerous times, with a smile on my face after my first week here. And I said, we got him too? He's on our team? I go, wow, this has a chance to be a special team. And from then, the players, accepted me right off the bat, which I really appreciated. I got to work as the national team was playing. I got to be with Axel, Ali, Maris was with us all summer, working them out in LDK, hot gym, with DeMarcus, the one American player we had brought in. And, you know, we had begun the process from that point. The national team, I would watch all their games. I would see William, I would see Nori, I would see Dan, I would see Wilson. I was fortunate that APR wanted me to come out here early. They wanted me to come out here to see the players that I would be coaching, how the BAL tournament was ran, the other BAL teams' talent level, and you know, I got a better understanding of African basketball by coming out here and seeing that. I saw what Egypt had, I saw what Angola had. I always knew Angola, Egypt, Senegal had very good national teams. You know, I didn't know how good Ivory Coast was, much better. And so that gave me an idea on the direction and where we would have to be to participate in BAL. You know, first of all, we would have to win the Rwanda League. And as soon as I came off the plane, the next day, I think, I'm coaching against the NBA Academy team with a few of the players that we were going to have on our team. And I found that really beneficial. Even though we only had a practice, and then the next day we had another practice, it was beneficial so I could see the talent level, the athleticism of the players. So I could now start to formulate in my head on what kind of way we would play. Then I didn't have Nori William with us. I did have Wilson, and I joked around with Wilson after just watching him for a week. I go, you play like Patrick Beverly, you know, in the NBA. You know, you're all over the place. You play great defense. You play hard. You're a good shooter. And I was very, very impressed with him. I had Dan also on the team. At the time, Kaj was hurt, but I had heard a lot of real good things about Kaj. So I looked at it and I saw, you know what, this isn't going to be a team of 3 really good players, 4 really good. That I actually had a team of 12 really good players. And that was going to be beneficial for us because in practice we would go 5-on-5, and it made us a better team as the season went along. So again, this all comes back around to the management by putting together a team, not just a team of 4 or 5 real good players, but putting a team together of 12 players. You know, there was one game when we played, it was 3 hours away, that we did not play a starter for the whole game, and we won the game by 20 points. We were winning by 30. That's how good the other players were. And I believe the R1 through 12, throughout the league, they could start for any team in the league. So that was a big help, that our practices were very competitive. I tell people, you know, I've coached, once I played college basketball. Once I finished college, I coached high school basketball. I coached junior college basketball. I coached Division I basketball. Okay, I coached CBA minor league basketball. Then I was able to now come overseas. I coached in the Philippines. That was my first overseas job. I coached in Korea. The every year it would be a different level. I once I was in Korea, I saw a very competitive league. You know, when I went to the Philippines, I saw a very competitive league. When you're in the United States, sometimes you don't get the opportunity to see the love of basketball outside of the country. And the love of basketball in the Philippines and in Korea, you saw by the World Championships this year, the fans that were involved, it's unbelievable. Then I go to a different part of Asia, Jordan, where my family was Jordanian. So I took over a team there that was a very good team, and we were successful. The first year I was there, we lost in the Asia Championship final and the Arab Championship final in the first year. In the second year, we ended up winning the Asian Championship final, and then we won the Arab Championship the following year. And again, the same situation as in Rwanda. That's what I told the people here, that Jordan was the same way as APR. They had assembled a very good team. They wanted to go where they've never been before. And, winning a league championship, winning an Asian championship, winning an Arab championship. Again, that was the goal. Anytime you're coaching in these foreign countries, the goal is not to win. It's not to make it to the final. It's to win the championship. So after Jordan, I got very great opportunity to work in the NBA for 8 years and be around some of the best players in the world. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Bradley Beal, John Wall. I mean, these are all Hall of Fame players. And seeing them every day, how hard they work. People don't realize how hard NBA players work. They put the TV on and they see the dunking and they see, how easy it is for them. But the appreciation that I got to be on that level and to see these players and how hard they worked, I would pass that along to my friends who worked overseas, my friends that worked in college, that how no matter how talented you are, the harder you work, the higher level you become. And when I went to Oklahoma City, I think Kevin was 22, Russell was 21, James Harden was 20 years old. So these were all young players. Now, when I went to Washington, Bradley and John Wall were older. And then not just those players, you see the other players that are in the NBA, that just how hard the first thing they do is work. The second thing is, every level you go as a coach, you learn. You learn different aspects of the game. Offense, defensive, schemes, strategies, player evaluations. Is this guy a good fit for my team? What does he do? Can we win with him? When you're in the NBA, you get to see all of that work. You get to see how the general manager, he picks the team, how they look ahead. So being on that level helped me in so many ways, And when you watch an NBA game, when you see the plays, when you see the strategy on how to get so and so open, right? it's one of the highest levels of strategy in basketball you'll ever see. Now, Europe is really good too. The Euro League is very, very high now. But I think over the years, it was always the NBA. Everything coming from the NBA down to the other leagues has lifted up the world. And we saw that this year when the United States didn't win the World Championships. You know, the world has gotten better in basketball. And I think the NBA, with the NBA African League, and becoming more involved in African basketball, considering how many very, very good stars there are in the NBA now from Africa, I think was a great idea. And I think the people of Africa have enjoyed the NBA being linked with the country. You know, when you see NBA African League. So I think that's been beneficial. You know, I know I've gone away from me, but all of that, you know, being involved in has helped me be a better coach every year. And you develop contacts when you're coming up through coaching. You meet this coach, you meet this coach, you sit with him, you work for him for a year, okay? Or you just meet him at a dinner and you just talk. And then as I got older, I passed information along, you know? It's a connection type of system, you know? I know people in Europe, I know people in the United States, I know people in Lebanon, I know people in the Philippines, you know, that connections are beneficial to me and are also beneficial to the people in those countries. You know, it brings you all together. I tell people when I show them the basketball, the ball has brought me to a lot of places in the world that if I'd never been involved in basketball, I would never have seen. You know, just being lucky enough to be involved in basketball for, you know, 35 years. So, you know, and then the way I got to Africa here, you know, it was funny because I'd been to Egypt and I'd been to Morocco in tournaments, and for some reason I didn't think that was Africa, and I told people, I've never been to Africa, and then I go, oh yeah, I've been to Africa, Morocco and Egypt. So again, I'm very thankful to APR, you know, for bringing me here, experiencing the season that we experienced, and the new relationships that now I have, you know, that I didn't have before. I was very surprised on how high the talent level was. You know, because I looked at, you tend to see Senegal, Angola, Egypt, Tunisia. You know, when you hear of African countries, you hear about how they are so talented. And you have NBA players from countries like that. So I knew nothing of the Rwanda talent before I got here. And then when I got here and I saw, and don't remember now, I watched the national team play in the Afro Cup and then in the Brunei, Brunei, the first tournament they played in, and I was very impressed. You know, I think with the facilities right now, when I arrived, there's not a lot of gyms. You know, we played at LDK, Stokel, in the arena, and to develop the talent that I have seen here with so far limited facilities for these players. It's an outstanding job the country has done. Now, as I drive now, I see a new building going up for a gym. I see APR in process of making a gym. I hear another bed. I think the more facilities that become available in Rwanda, it's going to the talent level over the next 5 to 10 years is going to jump very highly, and the NBA, when they come here, they have the academy camps. They now will have gyms to play in, more baskets for the kids. Those things will add up, and the more and more the country gets facilities, you're going to see more and more kids playing basketball. I think the future for basketball here is very, very bright, and like my friend Bill Bano, who came out here, works for the NBA Academy. He had the same, when he called me on the phone and told me about the situation and the player level and the BAL, and he watched Reg play and he saw Reg's talent was really good. He said there is a future in Rwanda for elite basketball, and I 100% agree. We had Osborne, I don't know his last name, who plays at very high level in United States basketball. He'll be a national team member for years now. You have another, I don't know who, the research, I don't know his name, another Rwanda player who's currently in the States that was with the NBA Academy last year, So the talent level and the players that have gotten a chance to go to the United States and play, everything's very bright for a basketball future for Rwanda. And this summer, that was a very good showing in the Afro Cup. One play and they're in the championship, and they might have been able to win the championship. They were that close to winning the championship. And I think the national team moving forward can be a factor in Africa. It's because of the players that they currently here and currently in the United States and currently that we can develop here in Africa. The one point I want to make about what I've noticed with the players in Rwanda, whether they're on my team, Reg, Patriots, or one of the other teams, the players play hard. As a coach, you want to do this, you want to do that. Your success will always start on the level of how hard your players play. And in this country, everyone plays hard. Everyone. And I was really, really happy with that. When we practiced, it didn't matter what teams I made, who was playing against who. Some players might be better than other players. That's the way basketball is. But the work ethic between a higher level player and a lower level player should be the same. And here it is. And I think that's an important building block for everybody to get better. When I came here, we sat down 3-4 days later. I sat down with Eric and I sat down with the president, and they wanted a plan, okay, a plan to give us the opportunity to win a championship. And when we sat for 2.5 hours, and I wanted to, I didn't know how much of my plan could get implemented, but the plan to me had to start with our support system. And I thought we would have to do something that other teams in Africa hadn't done yet. And as you look to where we are now, I was hoping that we could get a facility, like I'm going to call it where we live a facility now, that we could have the players live here, okay? So now we have all our players living here in this facility. They see each other every day. We're able to create more of a bond between us. They will see me, not in the gym. They'll see me out walking. Hey, coach, how are you? How you doing? That was the beginning of the plan. Then we had to go to, let's do what we do in the States in colleges and the pros, and have a training table, meaning food for the players. So our players were able to get, breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. They sit together, they eat together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. The last part of the facility. Now, remember now, I'm just suggesting all of this. I don't know if it's feasible, if they can do it, but it's just things that I think start your foundation. The last thing I said would be the most important thing out of the three of the foundation, and that is a training table medical staff. So we were able to now have ice for the players every day. We had ice baths, 2 ice baths downstairs, so that they could sit in the bath with cold water. Okay, this is to help their bodies recover after every practice. And the third thing is having ultrasound and stem for any kind of bruises or injuries that they may incur during the season. When I said this to the president, he just nodded his head. He listened. He wrote stuff down. Then we went over the basketball part on what we would need for basketball. And the first thing I wanted to do was get a practice schedule continuity. So it's not like we practice at 7, we practice at 5, that we had a set practice time that we would practice. Our practice time would be between 11 and 2 o'clock. And we would have to find the facility. LDK was harder because we had so many teams using LDK. We were lucky because we were able to practice, get that 11 to 2 at Stockholm, the Chinese facility gym, and they were absolutely great with us. They let us, use the gym from 11 to 2. Anything we needed, they helped us with. That was very, very important in the thing, because now every day we knew where we were going to go from 11 to 2. And the court was FIBA regulation size, whereas where LDK is smaller. So that helped us train there because it's a bigger court, better for conditioning. It gave us more space to work with. Now that we've ended up getting all of that, now it was time to coach and what kind of style we would play to give us the best chance to win the championship. I watched last year's Final Four on YouTube. I got the games, so I watched and I saw little things here and there. Where could we improve upon those games? And what I saw was defensively, I thought if we implemented more NBA type of defensive schemes, that we could improve the defense. And when we played these early games, against teams that we just had better players in, they would ask me, Coach, are we going to press? We're going to do this? I said, no, we're not going to press. Okay? We're not trying to win. We're not trying to win by 80 points, 70 points. Okay? What we have to do now is play half-court defense, learn the language of the defense that I was going to use. Okay? Learn the language. Okay? Stay tight. You're on the ball. Coming out, meeting the ball. A lot of different language they've never heard before. So when we would play these games, I would tell them, winning the game was not the goal. It's how we play the game. And defensively, we had to learn how to defend the ball first. Defend the ball and have the players who were not on the ball now seeing the ball and being involved. I call it, 10 eyes on the basketball. So as the season went on, we got better and we got better, we got better defensively. Offensively, we all knew how good offensive players we had. We had Axel, we had Nori, we had Wilson, we had William. We had very, very good offensive players. Now, what they did for us was these were always the top offensive players in Rwanda. They now became the best two-way players in Rwanda. If you saw the way William, Nore, Axel, Wilson played defense, they played defense like they were playing offense. They were so committed, and once the other players saw that, our American player DeMarcus, he came in and he played so hard. He played so hard defensively. All of a sudden now we were starting to gel.
had a defense. We had a defense that was willing to play hard. We had an offense that was willing to share the ball, sacrifice scoring 25 points a game to score 18 points a game. And as you saw us play in those playoffs, I think 7 games, I think 5 games or 4 games, the team scored 4 games that scored 62 or less. One of the games was 68. I think one game, maybe Reg had 78, was the highest we gave. The defensive part of the game, we really, really stepped it up. And I at the time of the way we were playing and we were holding teams under 62, I honestly told the team I thought this was one of the best defensive teams in all of Africa. You know, and when we didn't shoot the ball well, struggles with us being able to play better in the fourth quarter than them. And then we were able to win that series. But I think you know, when you guys watched us play, I think you would think, boy, that's a really good team. Not just offense, not just defense, but a really good team that shared the ball, played together. All the players had one goal, and that goal was to win the championship.
I want to ask you about APR really.
We had, I don't know if you guys noticed this, was our conditioning. We were unbelievably in great condition. And the fourth quarters, you know, third and fourth quarters, our conditioning. Another stat I had, I think we limited in the playoffs 5 quarters where the team didn't score over 11 points in the game. You know, one bad quarter can lose you a game.
Absolutely.
You know, so when we were able to put a complete game together was game 2, 3, and 4 against Reg. You know, we put offense, defense, making shots. You know, those were the complete games. The Patriot games, they were defensive struggles with us being able to play better in the fourth quarter than them. And then we were able to win that series. But I think you know, when you guys watched us play, I think you would think, boy, that's a really good team. Not just offense, not just defense, but a really good team that shared the ball, played together. All the players had one goal, and that goal was to win the championship. You know, the party lasted Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, 3 days. That was the party. That was to relax, enjoy, and now, in fact, I'm just to tell you, I've already looked at, you know, 20 different players. You know, as soon as they, I think it was today actually, was when I officially knew I would be back. You know, I didn't know until I had my meeting yesterday, and then they would let me know today. And you know, you never know. You know, so I'm very happy that I get another chance to coach this team. But as soon as I heard that, I got the players. I got looking at the videos. I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to the States, and I'm going to already watch
2, 3 players play, that I've seen and have an interest in. But we definitely, when I talk to the president, Eric, Kareem, Dan, we are going to do this as a group. I will ask them their opinion on the players that we should have. I'll ask Kareem. I'll ask Eric. I'll have my thoughts, and we will get all together. We'll have them watch tapes on players. We're going to be very, very thorough on the process, and at the end of the day, the process always will end with me making the decision. And as a coach, your players that you choose, okay? It's what kind of system you want to play, and by having input from 5 people all together, right? I listen, and we will make our decision from there. But that also includes input on any free agent players in Rwanda who can make us better, from other teams that are available, if they're available. That's also in the process, involved in our players that we're going to have and do, so to win, to be competitive in BAL, we have to start thinking now. To again win the championship in Rwanda next year, we got to keep thinking now. So yes, your question, it's time to now, think ahead, and let's see what we can do to get better. I think we will finalize our Rwanda roster first, so we know what positions we have in our Rwanda. Then we will with the African continent, the zone players that we get for the African zone players, and then the anywhere in Africa players. So we'll look at that mixed in. Once we get to that point, then we will go to what the 2 import players, what positions, what areas of needs do we have. So, to say right now what we are looking for, I think it's going to be a process, a built-up process. And first it starts with our Rwanda players first. The first thing was the fans. The Patriot game when we were losing by 18 to the Patriots in the first half, game 2. I thought the energy of the fans once we started to make the comeback was an extra advantage we had, because I looked at the crowd and I said the louder they became for APR, the harder and harder and harder we played. They definitely, as that game, they definitely were an advantage to us. And as the playoffs went on, the support we got from the fan base was great. That last game, it was
It was something like, hey, we can finally celebrate. After 14 years, we can celebrate. And their passion and their support for us, in the States we call a great crowd the six man. They were our six man. And all I can tell the fan bases is we're going to try to get better and better and better, and hopefully, we can get to the highest level any team has ever gotten in Rwanda. That would be a goal, and we have a shot. We have a chance. We have a chance because the management is intent on taking this team to its highest level. And when you have a management that's supportive, it only speeds the process up quicker to get to the highest level. By them having me come out here early, they wanted me to see the top BAL teams. Okay, they wanted me to see what kind of players they had. So after the BAL tournament, we talked about this during the year as the season went on, but we really got into it yesterday. Was the tough thing about Rwanda in the BAL is the way the seasons are ran. Like Egypt, Tunisia, some of these other, I think they start in October. They go through the season, and then they play the playoffs, and then they come to BAL. Whereas we start in mid-January, and now we're playing until February. Now we have to go to BAL, right? Play league games and go to BAL. Okay, so the amount of games we play going into the BAL tournament compared to those other teams, they've been playing for 4 months, 5 months. That's a big advantage. So, we're gonna try to get our team earlier prepared. See if we can get out of the country tournament to play in. To get 5 games, 6 games, to build up against the competition that we're going to have to play against. But I think if Rwanda if the Rwanda season was November to March, we'd have the same. We would have the same schedules, basically what Egypt has and those teams have. So I think you were right, though. You were exactly right when you talked about you're playing teams in great shape. Now look at us. When I first came in here, my first practice was July with the whole team. Was July, I want to say 16, 17, there, okay. So from July 17 to September 8th, the 5th of the championship, right? How much better did we get? Just look at how much better we got in just a month and a half. So imagine if we started in November, and now, and I'm not just talking, I'm talking Reg last year, Reg's team, if they had been together. The other point you made was those teams are teams. They have played together. They don't pick up 3-4 guys And I think that's the point you're making. And then now you're trying to win with an all-star team than a regular season team. Egypt had a team. All of those guys played together. Okay, Senegal probably had those guys play together. Angola, the same thing. But your question was right on. It's hard for a coach like Greg this year. They have a very, very good coach. Coach Kennedy, got them to the championship. Everybody expected Patriots to beat them that last game. No one gave them a chance, right? They won the regular season, best record. Okay, they had to beat the Patriots. Nobody gave them a chance. They won. But when they went to BAL, if the players they had on the BAL team, think about this, if they were together since November, how good do you think they would have been? They would have been pretty good. But now, you're a coach, and now you've got a month to prepare, your team to play against Egypt now. We're talking Egypt. And I watched Egypt play. That team was good enough, if they played in the Turkish league, which is a real good league, to be 4, 5, or 6 in the Turkish league. That was one of the best non-European teams I've seen. They were that good.
You think you'll be ready for them?
I hope so. I when I was in Jordan and we used to play Ahli way back 15 years ago, they didn't have foreigners. So what? I wish I played against that Ahli team. We used to beat that Ahli team.
I don't know. I think this might be the last question, but I don't know if you have really zeroed in on which players you want to bring, but teams like Al Ahly have players like Nuno Motos from the Taiwanese league, which is really big.
Yeah.
They have, I think they had a player who had been drafted in the league.
Yes, but he's Egyptian.
Yes.
He's an Egyptian player that was drafted. He played at Oregon. When you look at their team, they had from USC, biggest college, Oregon, biggest college, Nebraska, biggest college. There was one, I think the other kid was from Iowa State. So they had players that played the highest level of college basketball. It was a very, very well put together team. Ahli did a great job putting it together. Looking at the prior champions that I just saw a tape of, right? I think out of all the BAL championship, that was the best thing. I don't know if you guys have seen more than I have, but I think that's the most complete team I've seen win the BAL championship.
They had a very good team.
They did a great job of putting that team together. And they had Omat, is it? Arguably the best African player right now. Okay, and he was the MVP. And you add that to the players that I just told you about. That's a really good team. I hope to like get an Osborne. Okay, now you got an Osborne on our team. I know Reg and Patriots will also try to get him, but that's a player that I definitely would like to get. I'm telling you, that's no secret, and I'm not saying anything that the Patriots and Reg don't know, because they're going to be trying to get him. But I think for us to get someone of his caliber makes our team even better and gets us closer to Egypt.
And the foreign-based players, which places are you looking at in terms of recruiting them? Are you looking at a G League? Are you looking at colleges? Or you've not yet decided this?
I'm looking for, as the rule says, the best two non-continental African players. So if that's American, if that's European, if that's from Asia, okay, we've got to get the best two players that can compete with Egypt, Angola, Senegal, those type of teams. You know, it's to limit yourself. Just say I'm just going to get two American players. You know, our two American players imports this year. Well, one import played well. He played very, very well, and you know, maybe DeMarcus is back. You know, you don't close your door on any player. You go out, you see what your options are and what the player's options are. Now you got to remember that. Okay, the player has, because a lot of players, because we start in January, they all want to have jobs September, October. So that is involved in the process of trying to get two players together so you can play as a team all the way through. You know, I don't know if you guys thought of that, but that's another factor that gets involved. You've got to see who the pool of players that are available to now can come and sign in December, right? Instead of most of these guys, Egypt has their team by August. They know who's on their team August. They have everybody signed. Maybe one or two guys they don't have, but they basically know who's there. And so you know what? We have to factor that in also. So when somebody says, "Well, how come you didn't get this player or this player?" Well, because this player and this player wasn't available. So that's why it's even more important to get a base of as many players as we can see, as many players as we can watch. And it all starts for me on Tuesday, because I'm going to look at Tuesday and start the process.